Yahoo! Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love, to Astro Fenixx, flying into the moment yet again and radiating love as always. And as you can see, I have 4 piles of cards right here. That's right, we are doing a pick a card reading. This is going to be the second one, at least as far as the series that on the channel. The other one I did was quite a while ago. It's probably like a few months since I've done one of these. So, but I wanted to do one for Leap Day. I wanted to do a pick a card reading for Leap Day to see how you're going to be taking a leap forward this year. And just in general. So this card reading is going to apply for, Leap Day, the leap year. It will apply for the rest of the year, actually. But of course, I'll be doing other pick a card readings that will further augment that. But I just wanted to do a pick a card reading for this special day because this only comes once every 4 years. So I have 4 different piles of cards here. And since I'm doing this live, if you happen to hop on here during the live, I am going to put timestamps below, but obviously as I'm doing it live, I'm not going to be able to do that. So, if you want to just watch the whole thing, you can and stuff like that, but then you could pay more attention to the pile that you pick. But essentially, like I said, we do have 4 piles of cards here, and we're going to start with this pile right here. This is going to be pile number 1. This is going to be pile number 2. This is going to be pile number 3, and this is going to be pile number 4. So the first pile is going to be showcasing bronzite. So that's going to be pile number 1. Pile number 2 is going to be showcasing the carnelian. Okay. Pile 3 is going to be showcasing rose quartz, per usual. And then pile 4 is going to be showcasing desert rose. All right. So if you happen to be watching a replay of this and you're not watching it live, then you can pause the video at this point and kind of ponder over and just kind of feel into your soul, into your spirit, which pile of cards you are most drawn to at this time. Is it pile 1 with the bronzite, pile 2 with the carnelian, pile 3 with the rose quartz, or pile 4 with the desert rose? Let me give you all some time to think over that. And let's begin. So I'm going to be leaping all over the place in this one. I'm not actually going to do pile 1 first, and I'm not going to be doing pile 4 or pile 2. I'm going to actually go to pile 3 first. We're just going to kind of leap all over the place. We're not going to go in chronological order. So I'm sorry if that messes up some of you guys. But we're not going to go in chronological order as far as this goes. So we're starting with pile 3. So for those of you that are drawn to the rose quartz pile, this is for you. And we have several different cards here. We have 8 total cards. All right. So let's see what we have going on here. We have sacral chakra. We have alchemy. We have Mars. We have Azure as the oracle cards. Okay. And then for the tarot cards, we have the Chariot, we have the King of Cups, we have the Emperor, and we have the Prince of Cups. Okay. Interesting. So for pile 3, how will you all be taking a leap forward this year? This is interesting. I have these 2 sacred geometry cards here, and essentially what I was planning with these 2 cards is that these are going to be sort of like competing vibrations. So these sort of competing vibrations that we have is that of the sacral chakra, but we also have alchemy. I think it's awesome how Mars is also included in this, because when I think of the sacral chakra, a lot of times I do like to think of that Martian-like energy. So what we have here going on is that there's going to be this interesting vibration where, the sacral chakra is obviously going to boost your creativity and boost this life essence, you giving life to something. But then there's this whole alchemy thing that's coming in. So you need to actually find balance within your sacral chakra. That's really what I'm seeing here. Alchemy is taking these 2 objects and it's kind of creating something new out of it. So there's maybe some imbalances within your sacral chakra when it comes to your ability to create and maybe just that general life force, you may be feeling a bit of a lack of it. But this Mars energy is coming in here, and it's saying, especially here on this leap day, we got to look at where Mars is. Mars is in Capricorn, climbing the mountain, right? So this is definitely going to be, there's some type of challenge when it comes to this. And I can go ahead and read it. The frequency of the sacral chakra, the orange flower of life, supports our ability to flow with our desires and stimulates our creative power to manifest success and abundance in our lives. So you are definitely wanting to manifest more abundance, but you have to ask yourself, are you feeling a lack of flow? Are you feeling a lack of creativity? Are there any type of blockages that are preventing you from becoming the alchemist? And we also have the card of Azure, which means to protect yourself. You can see that the cards leading up to this are these oranges, these reds, and these yellows, right? So it's very much so, you think of those first three chakras, the root, the sacral, the solar plexus. There's a lot of energy, a lot of primal energy here. But then we have Azure to protect yourself. Some of you guys may be feeling really kind of locked into your current situation, and the Azure protect yourself, that your angels are all around you. You may be feeling very, very human if you chose this card. You may be feeling very, very human, and we all are human. But of course, there are times where we are experiencing the magic of this reality, and there are other times where we kind of feel like we may just be in the everyday mundane. The everyday, the day-to-day operations. It can feel kind of mundane. It cannot really feel super spiritual. But you have Azure here, which is to protect yourself. So this is about, and it's cool because we have this Mars card here too. We have the warrior. So you have to learn how to protect yourself. Are you putting yourself into situations that drain you of your creative potential, that drain you of your creative power, that drain you of the life force? Are you engaging in activities that drain you of the life force? You got to protect yourself. And you also got to realize that you are protected as well. You are protected. You have angels and guides here that are here to help protect and really honor what you want. Now, if you look at these top cards, it does in many ways tell a story. You have the Prince of Cups, you have the Emperor, the King of Cups, and the Chariot. This is actually the story. This is actually a coming of age kind of story, where the Prince of Cups wants to be the King of Cups, right? And the Prince of Cups is definitely driven by passion, by emotion, by love in a sense. And you can kind of say desires too, but it's driven by the energy. We have the Scorpion here, right? In this card, we have a Scorpion. So definitely there's some desire that the Prince of Cups desires to be the king, maybe because it's by being the king that the prince feels like he can be a better service to his family or to his friends, or maybe there's some other reason. Maybe he just wants a horde of women, who knows? But this is definitely a coming of age kind of story. We have, not only do we have the Scorpion here, but we have this, hold on, hopefully it can, all right, there we go, kind of. Oh, there you go. Excellent. So we have like this little snake right here that's kind of like lighting up. I know that the light's kind of like blocking it, but there you go. You can kind of see it better now. You see that rod there? It's like a wand almost, but then there's like the snake with the orb of light at the top of it, right? So what's going on here is that this is definitely a coming of age kind of story. This is his Kundalini is awakening. But in order for him to become the king, he has to kind of go through this process. And we have the Emperor here. Interesting, because when I think of the Emperor, I do think of that Mars-like energy. It is that Mars-like energy. So in order for him to become the king, he has to go through a sort of initiation. And the Emperor is going to initiate the Prince of Cups. Therefore, becoming the King of Cups, therefore, he's going to realize that, it's okay. It's not his desires aren't inherently bad, but he has to make sure that they are in integrity with his soul and with his spirit. If he's doing things simply for selfish gain, he's not going to become the King of Cups, who is a compassionate leader, a compassionate ruler, listens to the thoughts and the feelings of the people in his kingdom or in her queendom. This is a coming of age story where he's going to, this is an initiation. You may feel like you're having to kind of go out into the forest or out into the desert, and then when you come back as the king, you arrive in victory with the Chariot. So definitely very beautiful here. But what I'm seeing here, for those of you that happen to have chose this, there may be this sort of there's a whole legacy and purpose driven energy here. There's definitely this energy of really coming into your own, really coming into your power. And maybe before you have felt a lack of power because you haven't protected yourself going into certain situations. Perhaps you're a little bit naive. You got to think the Prince of Cups is, a little naive as well, kind of jumping into situations with his like heart on his sleeve, you know what I mean? So it's like, there's that sort of naivety to this energy as well, but also there's great power because the Emperor recognizes the potential of the Prince of Cups. Otherwise, he would evolve into the King of Cups. The fact that the King of Cups appears in this reading as well means that, yes, you may have some naiveties. Yes, you may be a little, impressionable too. But at the same time, your heart is pure. And with the Chariot card, you have no choice but to achieve victory. You have no choice but to achieve victory. So for your leap day, the way that you're taking a leap forward is trusting yourself, believing in yourself, and protecting yourself in situations, but still going after what you want with that passion and drive, balancing your chakras, balancing especially your sacral chakra, alchemizing that energy so you can feel more of that life force as you go through this initiation process and achieve victory. So that's going to be group number 3 for those of you that chose rose quartz. All right, so now we're going to hop on over to group 1 for those of you that chose bronzite. For those of you that chose bronzite, this is going to be yours. So we have Tantric Journey to start off. Tantric Journey. We have the heart chakra. Oh, wow. Okay. What are you guys getting into? We have gray. That's interesting. And Saturn. What? That was an interesting turn. Okay. Well, let's see what we got here then. We have the moon. We have the Four of Pentacles. We have the Queen of Cups. And we have the World. Okay. We got some interesting cards here and some interesting sync-ups here. Automatically, I see the World and Saturn happen to be in the same pool because the World is actually ruled by Capricorn and Saturn energy. Okay, guys, here's what's going on. We have Tantric Journey and we have the heart chakra. So this is definitely very romantic vibes, but wanting to connect with someone, not just frivolously, but for there to be some sort of deeper purpose here, okay? We also have Saturn here and learn to scan your body, gray. And Saturn kind of gives off that sort of vibe anyway. Saturn kind of gives off this sort of vibe of like, I guess boxed in restrictions. There's not really a lot of color to it, gray, it's grayscale, So some of you guys may feel like you're living in a movie that doesn't have color. You remember back when movies didn't have color? You remember when movies didn't have, or TV shows were in black and white? What kind of set those shows apart from today? Not that the shows today don't have this, but those shows had to rely on other kinds of things, such as little quirks or personal development with the characters, because they didn't have the colorful stimulus. And colors do invoke meaning, but since those colors were not absent, they had to make up for it in another way. So they had to make up for it with the personal dialogue, person-to-person interactions. And I know that says learn to scan your body. So some of you may be feeling, out of balance with your body. You may be feeling like maybe you have a pain somewhere in your body, or maybe you're trying to acknowledge, where is this coming from? There may be some sort of energetic blockages within certain parts of your body. The Saturn coming up here, Saturn rules the kneecaps. So I would think that if you want to scan your body, maybe focus on your knees. Maybe you need to do some stretching for this leap day, and it's probably a good thing because when you think about it, with the knees, when you bend down, there are really they're a really important part of jumping, right? When you take a leap, you use your knees and you bend down. But if your knees are kind of like creaking, if you haven't put enough oil on your knees, I'm thinking of the Tin Man and the Wizard of Oz, you're not going to be able to really jump that far. So you have to look at your life, maybe physically, maybe your knees do need some work, or whether it's mentally or emotional. Maybe you want to take that leap forward, but you're kind of weak in the knees, so you got to strengthen that area, because what's going to happen is that you're going to leap into a relationship. If you're with someone, your relationship is going to deepen. All right. If you're not with someone, be prepared to jump into a relationship, because with the heart chakra here, not only are you opening up your heart again, maybe some of you are afraid to jump because maybe some of you who happen to be single, maybe you were in a relationship that was, deep, and you really felt for the other person, but it didn't quite work out. And thus, when it comes to that leap of faith, when it comes to that energy, you haven't really been using your knees too much. But now that your heart is opening again, you can jump into this new relationship, just leap into it. And this is going to be a deeper bond. We got the Tantric Journey card. This is not just any old soul. This is someone that you probably have traveled with. This is a karmic connection. This could be a twin flame or a soulmate. I don't really like to use those words, but it could be a twin flame or a soulmate type of energy. And it's going to be someone that's going to help you grow and evolve, but also you just have that deeper connection with. We have the card of the Moon here, the Four of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, and the World. So the Moon here, of course, there's this sort of emotional energy here. Even though this is the card of Cancer, I love how it has the two fish inside of the moon, and it happens to be Pisces season. So there's definitely a lot of magic in the air, but you just may not necessarily see it or feel it. I'm kind of getting the image of an individual who is walking around a colorful world, but they themselves are colored gray and black and white. And you have to ask yourself, are you that person? And if you are that person, why are you that person? What happened? What is it that drained the color out of your life? What is it that drained the color out of your life? So you want to definitely feel in and tap into why that may be the case. The Four of Pentacles, you're holding on to something. You're holding on to something. If it's a past relationship that didn't work out, you're holding on to that past relationship. You haven't actually broken up with them yet. You haven't actually split with them yet. You're holding on to something that's disallowing you from seeing the color, that's disallowing you from seeing the beauty, that's disallowing you from truly taking that leap forward. You're holding on to something. And I just get the feeling, it's funny because, once again, we got Capricorn energy here. You see the glyph for Capricorn in there? Once again, Capricorn, Saturn energy is all over this. So I would highly encourage you, if you chose this one, okay? If you chose Bronzite, I would highly encourage you to look at where Capricorn is in your house and where Saturn is in your chart, because that's actually going to give you a great indication of what you could potentially be running away from or avoiding. And it's going to also show you, so like I said, what you're holding on to and what needs to be let go of. Because we had the Queen of Cups here, which is actually going to allow you to let go of this energy. This Queen of Cups could be an individual. It could be a water sign or someone who has water heavy in their chart. Someone who has a lot of Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. I feel like this is going to be the individual that allows you to let go. And I don't think this is the person you're going to fall in love with, but I think this is the person that's going to sort of accelerate your ability to leap again. They're going to give you this sort of encouragement. They're going to let you know that, hey, it's okay that you feel this way. It's okay that these things didn't work out the way that you want. But you don't have to remain stuck in this block of ice anymore. You can allow yourself to melt away and move into a new world. You're moving into a new world. This Queen of Cups is going to allow you to make that leap into the new world. This may not necessarily be, like I said, the person that you are falling in love with, or it could be yourself. This may not be the person that you're falling in love with, but this is going to be the person that recognizes your potential, similar to the last one, similar to the Rose Quartz. There's an individual here that's recognizing your potential. This is an individual who's a little bit going to be, it's not as harsh as the other one. The other one's sort of like putting you through a test. The Queen of Cups is there to nurture you, but it's also here to kind of give you a little bit of tough love as well. You know, it's like it's the tough love from the mom. You know, the reason why I say that's because you have Saturn here and you have the world here. There's some tough love that's going on here, but this is that necessary tough love, you know. So the world can open up. So the world can open up. This is actually really beautiful. I think you are coming out of a rut if you chose bronzite. And I think here's the thing. I think you've been strong for such a long time. And you haven't really given yourself credit because you have been strong for such a long time. You've had to put on a smile. You've had to put on a face so other people didn't know what was going on. You're trying to remain stoic like Saturn, but deep down, you're feeling like a lack of color in your life. You're wanting some more color. So you're having to scan your body to figure out what's going on. I'm really feeling it's the kneecaps, whether it's actually physically or just spiritually. Most likely spiritually, your kneecaps are a little rusty. They're a little rusty. This Queen of Cups is actually going to bring that new oil because, you know, oil is liquid. It's going to bring that water. It's going to bring that nice serum. So when she injects that into your kneecaps, you're going to be taking a whole new leap forward into a whole new world with your heart wide open and more than likely falling in love, whether it be with yourself and you explore, you know, yourself and your energies, your creative potentials, or with somebody else, or if you happen to be in a relationship, then, like I said, this is going to deepen that bond. But you have to let go of something. Like I said, this person's going to come in as sort of like a tough love, like a mother tough love. This is sort of like you touch the hot stove and you pull back and it hurts. And your mom told you not to touch the hot stove, but you did it anyways. She's still going to love you. She's still going to get ice for you. She's still going to hug you and care for you. But she's like, I told you not to touch that hot stove. And I feel like some of you may be continually trying to touch the hot stove, these hot emotions that, you know, you keep them hot. It's like I feel like you're keeping them hot. You're keeping it on for a reason, despite the fact that it's time for you to let go and allow that ice block to melt away. So that's going to be for group number one. So how you doing, KYK? I did do group 3 already. That was actually the first group that I did. So if you want to like go back to the beginning, I don't know if you can go back to the beginning at this point, but hopefully you'll be able to. Okay, so we got group 3, we got group 1 done. All right, now what we're going to do, we are going to go to group 4. So Desert Rose people. We got group 4, Desert Rose people. We have the card of discernment. We have the card of passion. Ooh. We have indigo. Ooh. It's like blending into my thing here. And we have, oh, the element of water. So we got our first element. Wow. Okay. We have the Ace of Cups. We have the 7 of Pentacles. We have the 9 of Wands. Oh, shit. The Leo King just joined. He looks like the Leo King. You'll see in a moment. And then we have the card of Judgment. Oh, goodness, guys. Deck 4. What is going on with you guys? There's some deep spiritual stuff that's going on here. So we have the card of Discernment. The frequency of discernment supports our ability to view the world and the people around us from a place of inner balance, and the people around us from a place, let me repeat that. The frequency of discernment supports our ability to view the world and the people around us from a place of inner balance and detachment, yet with compassion and wisdom. So not getting so caught up in the world's drama, essentially. I don't know why, but this card reminds me of the scarab beetle. I don't know why, it just happens to do that. And we also have the card of passion. So I think with these two being sort of competing energies and how to kind of balance these energies, we get these two cards of, you know, improve your vision and water. I think really is, we can, you know, group 4, you can get very, very passionate about something and want to get behind something. and it may lead you into situations where you lack discernment. I think it's good to have passion. I think it's good to be excited about something, but you also don't want to get so caught up in what's going on in the world and lose yourself. I think that's really what this is saying. You don't want to lose yourself in the collective wave and the collective energy. We have water here. So water is a very influential fluid, influential, kind of energy, right? And, we're all water, we're mostly water, stars are water, right? So this is the thing, you have to find your own bubble in a sense. And with the card of improve your vision here as well, it has like this cosmic backdrop with the stars and nebulas and galaxies and stuff like that. It's really, really freaking cool. This is definitely for those of you who chose this card. You really want to take time to meditate. I feel like today will be a great time to meditate on really how you want to take a leap forward. I think some of you may get kind of caught up in different kinds of social spheres or social water bubbles. And even if it's something that you're passionate about, you may get so caught up on this that it may actually kind of drown you out. So you want to have discernment. You want to still have compassion for people. You still want to have passion as well, whatever it is that you're engaging in. But you don't want to get so caught up in that it begins to rule your emotions. I think that's what's happening here, is that there's a sort of, maybe your emotions have been ruled. Maybe you feel like you've been kind of tugged around because, you get so caught up in what's happening around you. We also have the Ace of Cups, the Seven of Pentacles, the Nine of Wands, and Judgment. So the Ace of Cups, of course, is talking about emotional new beginnings, and it's talking about, allowing yourself to feel new energy. It really is. Seven of Pentacles, what's interesting about this card is that it's supposed to be the card of manifestation and kind of harvesting. But as you can see behind him, it's like kind of cloudy. The trees have like no leaves on them. There's like a couple of crows on that one. And these other pentacles are in the ground. They're chipped, and he's only carrying 2 of them. So that means that after all of his efforts, he's only able to manifest 2 of those 7 pentacles. And sometimes that is okay. I think some of you have been feeling like you might have been putting so much of your work into something, so much of your effort into something that it's like, and you've only been able to manifest this much. That may make you feel like you're not worthy. It may make you feel like, oh, why even bother? Like, I put all this work and effort into it, and then only this came out of it. Like, I thought I was going to have more. How come I couldn't have more? That person got more when he or she did this thing. How come I didn't get more? You got to improve your vision. Your vision, not anyone else's vision, but your vision. And even if you only got 2, that's okay. It's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. And plus, you have another opportunity. This is not going to be the only season where you can plant things. This is not going to be the only harvest. There are many harvests. So you don't have to necessarily worry about what someone else is growing in their garden. You got to worry about what you're planting in your own garden. You have to worry about your own water bubble. You have to worry about your star. We have the 9 of Wands here too. I don't know why I think he looks like the Leo King. Hold on, I wish it would it's not going to focus, is it? I don't know why I think he does. I don't know why. I know it's a little feminine looking as far as like that goes. But even on the deck, it says it's a guy. It just kind of looks like the Leo King. Plus, there's a lion in the back. You see the lion back there? You can't tell me that it's not the Leo King. Anyways, we have the 9 of Wands here as well, which is showing this energy of kind of preparing for something. And it seems like what you're preparing for is judgment. So I think what's happening here is that if you pick this, you feel like you are doing something for purpose and in purpose, on purpose. And you're preparing for judgment. Now, what judgment are you preparing for? Are you judging yourself too harshly? Or are you preparing for the judgment from other people? Are you worried about what other people are going to say and think? Are you worried about the wrong things? What about, I guess from your higher self or your angels and your guides? I think sometimes we also take that into consideration. Like sometimes we stop ourselves from doing certain things, or we don't go fully for what we want because we're worried that we're going to get judged. We're worried that God's going to judge us. We're going to worry that the universe is going to judge us, when the universe is impartial and it's just reacting and responding to your energy, right? So if you are putting out this energy of lack, you're going to receive lack. If you're putting out this sort of energy of, oh, I'm going to get judged for what I've done, then you are going to get judged, quote unquote, for what you have done. But what I'm seeing here is that, like, you're sort of worried that you've only manifested this so much up to this point, and now you're sort of preparing for this energy. But he still has this line back here, so there's still some courage behind here, right? There's still a lot of courage and bravery behind here and going into that situation. So this is saying, like, you can embody this sort of energy of not being afraid and not backing down from a challenge, and then whatever comes of it's going to come of it, you know. Whatever comes of it's going to come of it. I can definitely tell that you are very passionate individuals. Those of you that chose card number 4. And even when I think of the number 4, I think of Uranus energy. I think of Aquarius energy. So more than likely you're, you know, kind of more of a humanitarian, a little bit more worldly. And you maybe, yeah, you do get caught up in the world's affairs, and you do get caught up in the world currents and the world energies. We all do. We all get swept away by the current. But this is about improving your own vision, knowing that you actually have an emotional rebirth. I really see that like an emotional rebirth. You know, you're being born again. But you want to, like I said, you want to approach this year with this sort of discernment where you are, you know, you can observe the world and you are of the world, but you're not attached to the world. But you can still be passionate, right? You can still have this visionary quality, right? You can still influence other people. You can still manifest. You can still embody that bravery and courage and move forward no matter what happens. And then that sort of judgment, or that reflection in many ways, you know, that those trumpets, you know, you're gonna actually enjoy the music that's being played. You're going to actually enjoy the music that's being played. So that's going to be for group 4. Moving on along, moving right along. So like I said, after this video, I'm going to go back and put timestamps under everything. So I know this is live, so it's going to be a little bit different. So, and we have Carnelian. For those of you that chose pile number 2, we have Carnelian. So we have the Divine Feminine. We have Magic. We have Amber. And we have Air. Okay. We have the Queen of Pentacles. We have the 7 of Wands. We have the 2 of Swords. And we have the 2 of Wands. Okay. Some of you guys are practicing to be magical girls and witches. Oh, yes. Interesting. So for those of you that chose Carnelian, we have the Divine Feminine and we have Magic. This has Magic Girl written all over it. I don't know if any of you all watch any of those like Magic Girl animes. There's so many of them. You can just type in Magical Girl anime on Google, and then, like, you know, some of them are actually good. One of the ones that I watched was, what was it called? Madoka Magica, I think. Those are really good ones. There's like 4 or 5 of them, but I thought it was really good. But anyways, the Divine Feminine and its magic energy, with these being as competing vibrations, is kind of a bit ironic because I feel like they go hand in hand. But what I'm feeling is that, like, maybe you feel like your Divine Feminine energy is being suppressed, and it's almost like you can't reach your magic. That's really what I'm seeing here. But we have Awaken Your Creativity in Air. So the way that I sort of relate these energies, I think it's interesting too how we have 21 and 31, so they're 10 apart, and then we have 15 and 25, so they're 10 apart. And the sun's at 10 degrees of Pisces today. I don't know how I came up with that. You know, maybe it's just a coincidence that I happen to see that. But you are manifesting something whole new today. I think you may be listening to the wrong people though with air. So you have to actually this is about finding your voice. And by finding your voice, you're going to awaken your creativity. When you awaken your creativity, you're going to realize how magical you are. When you realize how magical you are, your divine feminine energy is going to increase. You see how that kind of worked? You see how that kind of works? And it probably relates up to here as well. When you listen to your own voice and find your own voice, the Queen of Pentacles, she knows her own voice, she knows her worth. So you're going to communicate your worth back to you. Okay, so now you know your worth because you're communicating it to you. The Seven of Wands, and awaken your creativity. Yes, you may have to defend yourself when you begin to awaken your creativity and express your creativity, because maybe not everyone's going to understand it, right? Maybe everyone's not going to understand it. So here a bit of a problem arises. Yes, you're communicating your value and your worth right now, but now that you're communicating it, people are not going to necessarily get it, even though you are awakening your creativity. And that amber energy, this is such a cool card because it's very, it looks like a plasma first of all, but it's just like, I don't know, there's just sort of like primordial creative power that's behind this card. I don't really know how else to explain it, but it's almost when like people are going to see this. This is like, this is like, I'm trying to think of what it's just reminding me of. It's like just this, you got the juice. I think that's what it is. I think you got the juice. Those of you that chose Carnelian Paul too, you got the juice. And I think people want to take your juice, but they're going to simultaneously say it's like, oh, you don't want that juice. That juice sucks. Let me take your juice. No. You're communicating your value and your worth. And now that you got the juice, people are going to try and take it for themselves. And so that evolves into this next one, the Two of Swords, where now it's like, are you going to allow people to take your juice, or are you going to allow people to tell you that you don't got it like that you aren't magical? Are you going to block yourself from the magic? Block, yourself from the magic. What I love about this Two of Swords is that it shows someone with the swords in front of them, but she's just sitting by the water. You got the birds highlighted by the moon in the back. She has a cat there. The swords are on the ground, So it's like she's pondering. She's not necessarily blocked, but she's pondering. This lets you know that when it comes to this Two of Swords energy, it's not that you're actually blocked, it's a mental block. So when you're communicating your worth and your value, people are going to start to see it and start to realize it. And you got the juice, you got the magic juice, right? They're going to try and come after you. And then when they start to come after you, what are you going to think about that? Are you going to block yourself? Are you not going to allow yourself to feel the magic? But then that Two of Wands comes up and bam, your divine feminine energy is just going to pop out. What I love about this card too is that you can see between the wands, you see that arch? The arch that's going between the wands, and he's just standing valiantly in the center. This isn't necessarily about choosing one path or the other. This is about being that cool, calm, collected center that just knows that he's on the right path. It's not necessarily about taking path A or B. This is about being that center pillar that is strong, that knows the word, that is passionate still, that is still creative. And that's the thing about the divine feminine energy. It takes in. It takes in. It doesn't push out, it takes in. So embrace yourself, beloved. Embrace your magic, embrace your creativity, and actually begin to communicate it. Communicate it through your words, your actions, your deeds. Because, beloved, those of you that happen to chose this pile, which is what this is pile 2, right? You got the juice. I think people want something that you have. And I think here's the thing. I think you want to communicate that they can have it too. Maybe they just have to do it in a little bit different way. But they can't have exactly what you have because you are you and they are them. This is actually a great opportunity for some of you to become teachers. To become, and by teachers, just through your actions. Whereas someone who maybe kind of wants that juice or wants something similar, you can show them, well, this is what I did and this is how it works for me. But, maybe you can apply some of these principles and maybe it'll work for you as well. But really, the only issues here is really that Two of Swords, that mental blockage, because people are going to come for you anyways. When you're really expressing who you are, there are always going to be haters. There are always going to be haters on your creativity. There's always going to be haters on your creativity and your art. But are you going to allow yourself to just kind of just sit and wonder and ponder what everyone thinks forever? Magic isn't real. Bullshit. I am magic. Magic is not real. Science is real. Don't you know that science is a form of magic too? Anyways, that's for group 2. And I do actually have some cards here for an overall as well. So these cards are going to apply to everybody. These cards are going to apply to everyone. Sorry, I thought my phone was ringing for some reason. So we have the card of perception. We have the card of integration. We have Scorpio. We have the card of brown. And we have the card of the Six of Swords. This is interesting. So how are we all taking a leap forward this year? Well, let's take a look at this. How are we all taking a leap forward this year? Well, let's take a look at this. We have perception and we have integration. These are two competing vibrations. The way that we're going to kind of settle these competing vibrations and learn how to embody each of them in an exalted way is by establishing boundaries. And Scorpio is all about establishing boundaries. So look in your chart to see where Scorpio is, or if you have any planets there. They're really going to help you during this time to not only to kind of ground yourself. It's almost like we're building the launch pad so we can take the leap forward, right? That's what this is, building the launch pad so we can take a leap forward. Now we have to acknowledge, what are our perceptions? How are we perceiving our reality? And how do we integrate that into our life on a day-to-day basis? So if you have a perception of, I am guilty, how are you integrating that into your daily reality? Does it feel very grounded? Do you feel very secure in that? Is it a boundary that allows you to expand? I know that sounds weird, a boundary that allows you to expand. That doesn't really make too much sense. But it doesn't keep you small or trapped, It's something that actually is freeing at the same time. That's the thing about it. Scorpio can be kind of a possessive, jealous kind of energy, but in its exalted form, there's a level of trust and faith that goes into it where you establish that boundary with someone. This second house to Libra. Libra is a sign of relationships. Scorpio being the second house to Libra, about valuing. So Libra really does value boundaries and that trust and faith. And also the sort of allowance of like, what, I trust you, I believe in you, I really do. And then there's this level of this deep sense of trust, like I said, that comes from allowing someone to be who they are. So you can have boundaries, but still be expansive. So what are your perceptions? What perceptions are you putting out there, and how are you integrating it on a daily basis, right? And we have the Six of Swords here. The Six of Swords is about travel and moving forward. I think it's interesting. It's almost like he's practicing some yoga position or something. I'm guessing that's what it is. But he has the swords on the ground, and he's like standing up in this like kind of like yogic position. So it kind of and I'm guessing that's a pyramid behind him. Is that the base of a pyramid behind him too? That's pretty interesting. So this is about a sort of cosmic travel. The pyramids. Well, let's go ahead and throw this little bit of occult information in here. The pyramids were used to travel to other star systems. They are actually actual stargates. Now, you travel to other places naturally every single night. That happens in your sleep. Some of you actually astral project as well. So, or if you take like a bunch of psychedelics and you blast off, that's another way to do it. But essentially, there is this sort of level of travel, and we are all stars traveling through this universe. They like to have you think that you're not a star, but you are a star. But what are your perceptions is going to kind of determine where you're going to go and how you're going to expand. So, and not all perceptions are bad, not all perceptions are good, Of course, bad and good are subjective too, right? And what may be higher vibrational for one person may not be higher vibrational for another person. So that's why you have to establish the boundaries, because if your boundaries are too open or you're allowing too many people's opinions in, you could be bringing things into reality and perceptions into your reality that upon integrating them, you're not really going to be feeling secure and grounded. And thus, that plant is not really going to grow because the roots didn't really get into that soil, because it doesn't like that soil. It doesn't prefer that soil. And then the leaves are going to wither away, and you're not going to really be able to really go anywhere, right? You know, I think it's awesome how this is the card of establishing boundaries, and it shows it shows like these little this plant in the ground, but this plant's going to grow. This is what I meant about, you know, having boundaries, but also expanding, because every tree originated as a seed. And that seed was a sort of protective barrier for all of the DNA of that tree. But then when it became a sapling and the roots began to grow, and then it poked through the soil and it grew up and up and up and up and up. And now it can pretty much taste the sun, and it provides all this sort of abundance, oxygen for us to breathe, fruit for us to eat, you know, a home for birds and other small animals. That's how you really grow and expand. Establishing your boundaries, having that trust and faith, but also at the same time, you know, allowing the right perceptions for you to come in. So upon integrating them into your reality, you will find yourself that you're exactly where you need to be. Six of Swords, there's a sort of sense of travel. You know, meditation will be obviously very good. If some of you, if you happen to do yoga, that'll also be very good. I've been thinking about getting into yoga myself. I've done it maybe a handful of times in my life. But, you know, that's really what I got for everyone for this pick a card reading. I think we're all taking a very awesome leap forward this year. And I think it's going to be one of those years where, considering all this Capricornian energy, and then, of course, the shifting of the nodes, things are really about to spice up anyways. So I know everyone can feel it. And I know it's not going to be necessarily the easiest, but if you just put in the honest work and effort, and you don't have to do too much, you know, but just do what's good and right for you, and add as needed, add as necessary. But just taking that one step every single day, you're going to find yourself leaping forward into a whole new reality. We all are leaping into a whole new reality, a whole new world. So just trust yourself, believe in yourself, know that you are a magical freaking badass. All right? You got this. You got this. Okay, you got this. All right, guys, that just about does it for this video. I hope that you all enjoyed it. I really do. Thank you for joining me live on this. Let's see if I can. Oh snap! Oh snap! Oh, there he is. Oh, there he is. Hey guys. Anyways, that's the pick a card reading. I hope that you all enjoyed it. I will go back and put the timestamps in right after this video. But I hope that you gained something out of this. Hope that you all have a lovely leap day. I will definitely be seeing you all tomorrow on the daily, the Shooting Star Dailies. And as always, take care, stay blessed, and remember to keep moving forward, to stay focused, and Yahoo! Smile often. I don't even know what that was. I guess I was trying to show like a leap or something. Crazy. Having fun. That's what we're supposed to do, right? We're supposed to have fun. Peace out, guys.